Hi everybody, welcome to Seminar 2, Week 3 already. All right, so this week, all about technology. Okay, so I think we're going to have a fun week. The objectives for this week: examine how technology is changing the learning environment, explore the use of technology in the delivery of nursing education. Okay, now the written lecture for this week is focused on developing an online course. So that's certainly one aspect of technology, right? GCU is actually in the process of revising all of the MSN ED courses. We do that every few years to make sure that we have current, relevant content, incorporating new technology, different things like that. So I'm kind of excited to see where that's going to go. But in our discussion questions for this week, we're really focusing more on the actual technology nuts and bolts rather than course development. You're all going to be sharing information this week about various technologies, and I'm really interested to hear what you find. So I'm going to share with you this week a little bit about more of a low-tech kind of approach to teaching, something that you can use. So you can purchase cards, and if you think about Scantron cards, they have those little circle bubbles that you fill in with a number 2 pencil. Okay, so these cards instead, all of those bubbles are coated with a substance. And they're the kind of substance that you would take your nail or a quarter and kind of scratch it off like a scratch-off lottery card. Okay, so when you buy these cards, all of the circles have this coating substance on them. And you get a sheet that says, okay, number 1, B is correct. Number 2, C is correct. So you know which one underneath that is the correct answer. So you go ahead and write your questions with the correct answer per the guide, right? And I like to use this as a study tool for students to use at home. I would put together a list of study questions on a topic. And this could be used either preparation for a test. It could be used to prepare for lecture, kind of like a flipped classroom type approach. There's a couple different ways you could use it. But the student would take that home, read their materials, and then try to answer the questions, right? So the good thing about it is, let's say they scratch off an answer and it's the wrong answer. Okay, so they look back at the question, and they can scratch off another one and another one until they actually get the right answer, which then reinforces the concept in the test question. Okay, so I like it as a really good at-home study tool. They will actually get the answer, but they're challenging themselves first to see what their competency level is. So I've had fun with using that. That was kind of a cool thing. Okay, so let's see. So I doubt if any of you will come up with something about that technology, but I'm really going to be interested to see what you find as you search the literature. Okay, let's move on to this week's assignment. You are writing about one technology application that can be used with educating nurses, nursing students, or patients. Okay, so you have a little bit of leeway there. So any technology application, there's just so much out there. I'm looking forward to seeing what you find in the literature. So please go write down the directions. You're going to include significance, attributes, examples, and how this technology is related to professional standards and competencies. And that's kind of broad because you can relate this technology to all sorts of different things. So again, you have some leeway there. You also have a lot of leeway in how you're going to present this information. I think there's like podcast, paper, PowerPoint. There's several that you can choose from. So whichever one you pick, and if you're daring, you might want to challenge yourself with one of those, but whichever one you pick, just make sure that you're staying within the guidelines for either the word count, the slide count, the number of minutes, whatever it is that's listed there in the directions. Because part of our goal with you presenting information is to be able to do that in a clear and concise manner. That is something that a master's prepared nurse needs to be able to do. Present something, get their point across in a clear and concise manner. That's why we have those word counts, slide counts, minute counts, whatever. Okay? You need to include 3 scholarly peer-reviewed resources. Okay? How can you tell if something's peer-reviewed? Look up the journal and find out if it's a peer-reviewed journal. Google it. And they need to be less than 5 years old. That's going to be probably your biggest challenge. Okay? And please go ahead and pull up that rubric and make sure you're reading the descriptions, because I'm sure all of you are aiming for top box scores, right? So really read those descriptions and make sure you understand them. And of course, contact me if you don't. Send me a note in your individual forum. I check the individual forum every day, so don't hesitate. All right. The bottom part of the assignment then goes in to talk about posting in week 4. And it doesn't exactly match. If you look up week 4 DQ1, it doesn't match what's there. So this is what you're going to do. When you've completed your project, after you've turned it in, okay, next Thursday, Friday, whatever, starting of the new week, right? You are going to hit the reply button, just like you would with your first post of any DQ. You're going to attach your assignment, and in the body, you're going to write a little brief description about the technology in your assignment, just to kind of whet our appetites. And then, as we go through responding to each other, we'll be reading about each other's technologies and asking questions, and hopefully it'll be a real good discussion. But I'll tell you more about that in next week's video. So I just wanted to explain the assignment that you're turning in by Wednesday at midnight. You will upload for your initial response to week 4 DQ1. You'll attach it and write a little blurb about it as your initial post for those for the points for that discussion question. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If you have questions about anything that I've talked about today, please shoot me a note in your individual forum, and hopefully I can clear things up to you. Okay, I think that's about it for this week, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you in the main forum.